And Rafa is here. Rafa, where are you calling from?
Hey, Travis. I am calling from Salt Lake City, Utah. Although I was in Busan a couple days ago, and thank you for the photo. I didn't get a chance to tell you thank you for everything else. I was too holy shit, I'm with Travis PogChamp. So, but now I'm here.
Very good. I've turned you down a bit. For some reason, you were pretty loud. But yeah, it's super nice to meet you. I do remember. I think I asked you where you're from, and you said Salt Lake. Or did I? Maybe I didn't.
Yes.
I think I did.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for the call, and nice to meet you. What do you want to talk about G2 RNG?
Yes, I do. This is so I think it was funny how everyone's talking about, oh man, Cloud9, they've got a chance against the Freak of Freaks, or Fnatic are definitely going to beat EDG, and no one's talking about my boys G2 Esports against RNG, because everyone thinks, I think a lot of people are just kind of taking it for guaranteed that it's just going to be RNG versus KT in semis, and then depending on how well both teams adapt and draft, then there'll be the final matchup. But G2, I agree with Marks. The style matchup between G2 and versus RNG is very favored for G2. I think Letme is the weakest Chinese top laner at this tournament. We've seen how well both Ray from EDG has been performing. We've seen how well Duke and the Shy have been performing in their individual matchups, and how deep their champion pools are. Whereas Letme is, if he's not playing Urgot or Aatrox, he's not playing a carry top laner. It's just Sion, it's Shen, or it's Ornn. And I think that lack of being able to play an actual carry top laner outside of the two pick bans in Urgot and Aatrox is going to give Wunder a huge advantage to be able to smash top lane super easily, almost in every single game, because you can get those two picks out of the way, and then you can then start putting Wunder on stuff like Camille. We already saw how well the Shy did with Gangplank, so maybe Wunder returns back to the Pirate. And then as long as Hjarnan and Wood are able to neutralize Uzi and Ming, and Uzi doesn't go back to stuff like Lucian or Callista, then that 1-3-1 split push style that G2 has been improving on ever since from play-in stage is going to help them immensely, and I definitely think it's going to Game 5, and it just depends on how well RNG then adapts overall, and how well Xiaohu or MLXG step up in terms of being needed to be more aggressive in the early game, so that G2 do not take that lead and then just choke them out until the end game.
What do you guys think?
Do you think G2 looked good in their group?
I'm sorry?
Do you think G2 looked good in their group and their wins? I'm assuming, if you're taking
yeah, for sure.
Can you put your mic a little further away, Rafa? Sorry.
Let me turn down the sensitivity. It's probably destroying Twitch chat's ears. My bad.
It's all good, too.
All right. Test 1, 2.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, it's 20 times better.
All right, sorry about that.
No problem. Rafa, what do you think the odds are G2 wins?
I would say I know I was hyping them up and stuff, but and now I have to take a step back and be realistic about it. Honestly, it's 45%, because I think RNG, from a coaching perspective, are going to pay a lot of respect to obviously the Heimerdinger pick and how G2 plays 1-3-1. But I still think that G2 style overall gives them a strong advantage, and we just haven't really seen RNG play anything else other than put Uzi on a late game carry, put Xiaohu on something that is more utility focused and plays around playing around bot lane once. Because a lot of the times there are 2 games, I think, where RNG was losing almost the entire game except one team fight. They got a massive team fight, they aced Baron, or they just ended the game through mid. And having that win condition, while it is impressive they can do it, I don't think it's something that is it's something that they should rely on. And I hope that G2 looks at that and can play around just continuously choking them out with their 1-3-1.
Yeah, so I didn't think G2's 1-3-1 looked that great. I think that they were plagued by a lot of the issues TL even had with people getting picked off that shouldn't be getting picked off. Really bad teleport plays coming out of Perks. I mean, they're good in lane. Like, their players are playing really well in lane, and especially when they get Heimer, they just have 3 winning lanes generally that are doing really well. But the way they play on the map, like, people are getting picked way too often for that to be consistent against really good teams. Like, unless RNG just show up and they look really bad, I really don't think G2 are actually going to do that well. I'm like a fucking fanboy of the players for sure, but I have to be like very honest with the fact that, like, as a team and playing it out as a team, they haven't looked that good. I really think Flash Wolves should have advanced over them. They beat them earlier that day, looked way better than them. The game stalled out because Flash Wolves missed taking a Baron, so Yankos stole it away, stalled out. They got the next Baron instead and ended off that. And then, for some reason, Flash Wolves decided that they thought Mordekaiser Tom Kench was going to counter Heimerdinger in the last game, and they got shit on. And then they also had counterpick mid, where Perks ends up with Aurelia and Arise, which is nice. He just ends up snowballing really hard on that lane, and he has a much bigger advantage than he should have. And they essentially won off laning phase in that game. They didn't have to play, like, team play wise anything at all. I didn't see anything super amazing out of G2. And my only hope for them going further than where they are now is just out of pure fanboyism. Like, I don't think they look too great personally.
I think I agree with some stuff Nero said, disagree with other. I thought Flash Wolves looked fucking terrible. Like, I agree G2's like macro was not fantastic, but the fact that Flash Wolves struggled so hard to punish anything with a split push, because it happened again in the Afrika game, and it happened the first time versus G2, like they were fucking booty hole if, like, you didn't agree to fight them. And I think, like,
group sucked.
that whole group was pretty bad. 100% agree. So I mean, that's splitting hairs about which of those two teams, like, didn't look as bad. I think G2, while, like, you can say, like, the split push style versus RNG style should be good, which I think, in a theoretical world it is, but, like, G2 don't actually play that fast. And, like, you saw what happened when Gen G tried to go, like, split push versus RNG, and, like, they just kept engaging on Ruler, and Ruler kept outplaying it until the one time he didn't, and then the game was just over. And, like, that's exactly what Flash Wolves wasn't doing to G2. It was like they weren't engaging over and over again. So, like, I actually think if RNG drafts enough engage, they're really good about, like, their timing windows of engaging. And, like, what ended up happening to RNG and why they dropped games was because Vitality and C9 played really aggressive and snowballed the game against them. And that's, like, not what G2 does that well. So, like, eventually RNG actually did have to stop picking late game carries. They started playing Kallistas and Lucians because they were getting rolled by C9 and Vitality, and they got scared off late game. But, like, against G2, you're not going to get scared off late game. Like, Uzi's going to pick Kai'Sa, Xayah, Trist, I don't know, whatever late game shit he wants, get there through a free laning phase, and then, like, if RNG's engages are on point, G2's probably going to lose. But I do agree, if G2 can just split the map and avoid those engages, I actually do think Let Me is a huge liability versus Wonder. And I think Perks with counterpick should be able to outperform. And he has a nasty Akali. So even blue side, like, if he can blind Akali and stuff like that, because there are a fair amount of things you want to ban versus G2, it's not that hard to actually get blue side Akali for G2. I do think they have a lot of powerful picks that can help them out. But I think it's probably closer to the Fnatic over EDG prediction for me, like probably 75-25 for RNG.
Yeah. The main thing I'm excited to see is just the actual, like, laning phase play out in those games.
Yeah.
Like, the way top of mid plays out will be super interesting. And that's, like, if they're winning through that, that's what I'm happy. If they don't advance, but they are at least, like, doing really well in lane and competing off that and getting, like, decent leads, then I'm pretty happy with G2's performance at Worlds overall.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. Go ahead and just wrap us up, Rafa.
Just last thing. I think the other thing that will be just interesting to note is how well Jankos plays, because I think this is the weakest he's ever played in an international tournament, if I'm correct on that. And I'm hoping that even if G2 loses this best of 5, that he goes down swinging. I want to see him on Lee Sin again. I want to see him on really aggressive champions and not making questionable mechanical misplays around the map.
Hey, thank you so much, Rafa.
Thank you.